Throughout the history of the league, we've seen 24 perfect games, 21 4-home run games, but the story I'm about to tell you has happened only once in the history of the league, and I can damn near guarantee you it will never happen again. This right here is the story of when everything broke just right, and the unlikeliest of players had maybe the most amazing, surreal day in MLB history. He played 14 seasons in the big leagues for 5 different teams, played every position on the field throughout his career except for pitcher, and his claim to fame, he got a hit for 2 different teams in 2 different cities off 2 Hall of Fame pitchers in one day. That's right, 2 hits, 2 cities, 2 Hall of Fame pitchers, 1 friggin' day. As you might have guessed, in order for the impossible to have become possible, and for Youngblood to have accomplished this feat, so much had to go right. Like, quite frankly, this story is filled with so many crazy twists and turns, so many moments where it was this close to all falling apart that you would almost not even believe that it's true. For example, to start things off, on the morning of August 4th, 1982, Mets general manager Frank Cashin has a trade basically done to ship Youngblood off to the Expos when the phone stops working. The trade is very close to being done and the phone stops working. Now, the Mets are only a couple hours out from a day game at Wrigley Field against the Cubs, and Mets manager George Bamberger has to set the lineup. So manager and general manager have a little talk. He's batting third and playing center field. And so now, with Youngblood slotted into a prime position in the lineup, he and the Mets had to prepare to face the future Hall of Famer, Fergie Jenkins. And sure enough, in Youngblood's first at-bat of the game, he struck out, like so many hitters did against Jenkins over the years. But when his second at-bat comes in the top of the 3rd inning, as he walks up to the plate, he has no idea he's at the beginning of something absolutely historic. Because as he walks up, he doesn't realize this will be his last at-bat ever as a New York Met. So, to set the scene, the bases are loaded. There's 1 out. Youngblood comes up, hits a 2-run single to give the Mets the lead, and by the end of the 3rd inning, he finds out he's been traded to the Montreal Expos. And not only did the Expos trade for him, they were kind of short on players, and so they're asking if he can get out there for the game tonight. So let's take a little step back here and show you exactly what Youngblood is up against at this point. The game that he needs to be at, Expos at Phillies, starts at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. The only flight that he can catch out of Chicago at this point is at 6:05 Central Time, aka 7:05 Eastern Time. So he decides to leave the ballpark immediately, head back to the hotel, take a quick shower, pack all his stuff up, and call a cab to the airport. But as he's on the way to the airport, he realizes he forgot his glove at Wrigley Field. And for Youngblood, Youngblood runs in, waves goodbye to his teammates for the last time as a New York Met, and he and his cab driver head to the airport in rush hour traffic in Chicago. Youngblood recounts sprinting through the airport, checking his baggage so quick that he wasn't even sure if he did it properly and if it was going to be there on the other side. He just barely makes it, eats dinner on the flight, and before he knows it, he's already landed in Philadelphia, where his new team, the Expos, are midway through a game against the Phillies. So Youngblood arrives at the ballpark, heads to the clubhouse, slides on an Expos uniform that's already made with his last name on it, and walks into the dugout. And now it's official, guys. He may have woke up this morning as a member of the New York Mets. He may have played for the New York Mets this afternoon. But now, he's a member of the Montreal Expos. So, I have to imagine at this point, Youngblood is probably thinking, he's here in case something weird happens, in case the game goes to extras, right? Like, most likely he's not entering this game, you would think. But that would turn out to be wrong, because in the bottom of the 6th inning, really not long after Youngblood had arrived at all, Expos manager Jim Fanning asks him to go into the game in right field as a defensive replacement. So he plays the bottom of the 6th in right field, comes back to the dugout, and in the top of the 7th, he gets a chance to bat. His reward for rushing to this game, for being a good teammate, he gets to face future Hall of Famer, one of the greatest pitchers of all time, Steve Carlton. Now, the interesting thing about this matchup, if Youngblood had one ace left up his sleeve, was that there was actually no pitcher in Youngblood's entire career that he faced more than Carlton. So if there's one thing he could tell himself as he walks up, it's, okay, I've hit this guy before. I've seen his pitching before. Sure enough, he walks into the batter's box, takes a deep breath, looks Carlton in the eye, and then hits a ground ball up the middle that Phillies second baseman Manny Trio can't quite handle. And there you have it, folks. It was an unassuming hit by an unassuming player that capped off maybe the craziest single day that any big leaguer has ever had. Now listen, Joel Youngblood's career stats are never going to knock you out, but he did something that was never done before, has never been done since, and in all likelihood will never be done again. And for that, he'll always have a piece of baseball history.